All right, so this is going to be a review of Everything Everywhere All at Once. I heard it was really good ever since it came out, and I wanted to go see it when it came out, but I didn't get the chance to, so we're making up for that now. I'll say how I feel about it in a second. It's directed by Dan Kwan and Daniel Schnert. I guess that's why it says it's a movie by Daniel. They both have the name Daniel. So in this, Michelle Yeoh plays Evelyn Wang, and her and her husband, they run a laundromat, and they're having issues. They're being audited, and so they're having issues with the laundromat. But then also, she spread so thin, and and all that. She has to deal with her father, and her husband. Her marriage isn't doing very well, and then also her daughter, who's gay. She has trouble coming to grips with that, or telling her father, very traditional father, about it, and things like that. So her life isn't going very well. Her husband all of a sudden turns into another version of himself and tells her that her life is in danger and someone's coming for them, and things like that. And her whole life gets shown before her eyes and things. There's these little communicators or whatever they put on, and she has to tap into other versions of herself to kind of like protect herself and survive. And there's a bunch of fun multiverse things going on, but at a certain point it actually, based on the villain and things like that, it actually gets deeper than that. So I loved this movie, not just liked, right? I thought it was fantastic, and I wish I would have seen it originally when it came out. It's just so creative and imaginative with like all the different multiverses and things. After watching this, Doctor Strange 2 looks like trash, and I already didn't like that movie, but it shows all these different realities. I mean, not just in a flash of them, but it actually shows them in different environments with different costumes and things like that. And it's just so much fun. It's a lot funnier than I thought it would be. There's certain moments with because you have to do certain weird things in order to get certain abilities or tap into other versions of yourself. So there's one where two guys are kind of like fighting to try to shove something up their ass so that they could tap into their other versions. That was really funny. There's a lot of funny parts, and it was funny throughout the whole thing. The action is great. There's this one part that I really liked. She has to do something weird, whatever, tap into another version of herself. And it's a version of herself that's a sign twirler. And she taps into that, and then she grabs this riot shield from this guy that's going after her. And she uses that shield. She turns into fucking Captain America or something. She's just throwing it around. It's coming back to her and things. She's using it to block them, and the choreography is fantastic. Easily, I think, one of the best parts of the movie, at least when it comes to the action. And I really like that. The performances are amazing by Michelle Yeoh, and the husband, Wayman Wang, played by Ki Hyun Kwan. They're both great, and when it isn't just cool multiverse things, there's this whole thing about a bagel. It's kind of convoluted and all over the place, but it's really fun and interesting to find out more about it and how the multiverse thing works and how they tap into their other selves and things like that. But the emotion that's kind of underneath all that, where it really just is about regret about your life and how things turned out, and certain things going on with her family and how their relationships have gone sour, and bringing that back together, and all that is great. There's emotional moments with her and her husband that were so powerful they almost brought me to tears. So negatives, because we got to get there at some point. I don't really have that many. I really only mainly have one, but also it's kind of nitpicky. But the de-aging for some of the flashbacks, like some of it's clear that they just threw a wig on them. Michelle Yeoh and the actor that plays her husband. And then there's certain parts where it's like, well, I think they should probably look a little bit younger because there's certain parts where they look exactly the same. I guess they looked the same when they had their kid, when she first got pregnant. Obviously, the de-aging, it wasn't fully up there, but that's not even that big of a deal. The main issue with this is the length and the pacing, because there was a point where I was like, man, it feels like I've been here for a really long time, and yeah, like, it doesn't seem like we've really gone anywhere. And then I looked, and it had only been 30 minutes, and I was like, wow, okay, so I guess it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it has because the pacing is it's a little bit slow, especially towards the beginning. And this is set up into three parts. The first part is everything, and then the second part is everywhere, and the third part is all at once. It goes with the title. Part two starts at like an almost an hour and a half into the movie. So that's part two. And then part three is way at the end. And I'm thinking, this is a three-part, well, split up into three parts movie, and you have just watched almost an entire movie, like almost an hour and a half, 90 minutes, and you've just gotten to part two. So yeah, it is kind of long, and I'm sure that that has to be other people's criticism too, because that's my main thing with it is you could have tightened it up. I mean, it is very long and kind of stretched out. There's certain things you could have made a little bit shorter or something like that. Because I enjoyed every bit of it. I don't think I would say any scene needs to go, but definitely some of them could have been kind of shrunk and made the movie just more solid, like a tighter film. But anyway, that's the only negatives I have. I think this is great. It's funny, it's fun, and it's creative, it's interesting. Even for things that were convoluted, I still, for the most part, got them and thought they were really fun to find out more about the multiverse and the villain and everything that she can do. The 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 movie is just that good. I mean, but anyway, I'm gonna give it my highest rating. I'll give it beyond awesome. And yeah, that's it. That's everything, everywhere, all at once. And we're done.